Welcome to Building Better, where we explore the challenges and solutions shaping the future of the UK construction industry. I'm your host, Charlie Luxton, and today we're spotlighting the fundamental issue of gender representation in the UK construction industry. Now today, women make up 15% of the construction workforce, with around 340,000 women actively contributing to this vital sector. Even more encouraging, 37% of new construction workers entering the field are women, signalling a steady shift towards greater diversity. However, the picture isn't entirely rosy. While 16% of senior management positions are now held by women, this progress is far from uniform. A staggering 81% of women in the industry are still clustered in administration and design roles, leaving just 1% in the skilled trades. These statistics highlight the persistent barriers women face in breaking into more hands-on, technical areas of construction. And the challenges don't stop there. The gender pay gap continues to cast a long shadow, with women in construction earning up to a third less than their male counterparts. Furthermore, a disheartening 72% of women in the industry have reported experiencing gender discrimination at work. So while it's clear we're moving in the right direction, significant work remains to be done. Today, let's delve into the current landscape, celebrate our progress, and most importantly, discuss the steps we need to take to achieve true gender equality in construction. Men have long dominated the construction industry, but the rise of the Magnificent Seven marks a significant shift in this landscape. These 7 women, who each run successful SME house building businesses, are committed to supporting the next generation of female talent as mentors through the I'm a Housebuilder mentorship program set up by the All-Party Parliamentary Group for SME house builders. Each of them has a unique journey and has made a substantial contribution to the field, overcoming numerous challenges along the way. Their experiences, filled with resilience and determination, provide a powerful narrative of ambition and the desire for a more inclusive future in construction.
So the Magnificent Seven came about via a guy called Edwin. He works a lot with the SME developers, and he was having these meetings with people and these events, and he was just found himself in rooms filled with men, and he felt that this needed to change because he recognised the importance that women can bring to the industry, a different eye that they can have, a different perspective. He went out and he searched and he found the women out there. He said it was a bit of a hard search because there weren't very many, and he brought us together, and I remember one of the first events we went to, and there was about 6 of us women in the room, and there was about 100 men, and it was really that stark contrast that really brought it home to me, because sometimes I'm in my own little world in our own business with me and my husband, and I forget what it's like in the rest of the world, and that really brought it home to me that actually I am doing this. So let's show to other people and let's be part of this to let them know that they can do this too for women.
So how do I define the Magnificent Seven? I think 7 magnificent women, confident, powerful, charismatic, trying to carve their own place in the world of property development. To be honest, I was deeply honored. The moment when I crossed the door into the parliament, it was a very special moment for me. I nearly had tears in my eyes because, I wasn't born here. I came here when I was 24. And when I first came, I was even struggling to secure a work permit. So for a long time, I was worried I wouldn't even have the legal status to stay in this country. And I have to work very hard for my work permit. And all of a sudden, here I am in the parliament. I'm like, okay, I made it. They're not going to kick me out anymore.
I will be honest, it was something that I was like, I'm not capable of doing that. I can't put myself in those situations full of a room full of men. and have those conversations, because a lot of the time I forget that, again, because in my day-to-day work I just get on with it, I forget that actually I do those things, I do have those conversations. And so I remember one of the first times I was put in those situations, and I was actually quite terrified going, but I came away and I spoke with Edwin at the end, and I was like, actually I had those conversations, I do have a place at the table, and I want to let other women know that they can have that too. And it's still a growing journey for me, but I'm grateful that Edwin was able to ask that of me to help me realise the place that I have. So the plan going forward for the Magnificent Seven, the opportunity for a mentoring scheme with each of us from the Seven. And so we have just closed the applications for that, and we're going to be going through and seeing who is most suitable to take part in it at this stage. And they're each going to be paired up with each of the women, you know, just to share what we've learned, and to share, especially in the role of the women, how we have managed both roles, you know, home life and work life, and to help them to move along their journey in the direction that they want to go in.
So I was actually not in development at all, no family background whatsoever. My background was actually finance. I used to work in investment fund, which is great, a lot of transferable skills. When I was on my maternity leave, actually something quite unfortunate happened to my family, which meant I probably is the only person who can work in my family. So I said to myself, I have to do something different. And I've always been interested in property. I think brick and mortar is kind of in my blood. So I thought, if I could do this, I know it's a huge risk. I had cold feet, and took me a lot of effort and mental determination to plunge myself into this, because it's something I've never done. But I say to myself, this is the opportunity. If I could make this a success, it could give me the flexibility, because I'll be my own boss. And also the flexibility to look after my girl, but also the financial stability I wanted for my family. So this was my chance, and I took it. And I think it was the best decision I have ever made for my life.
I hope to be able to help that person to be able to share the knowledge that we have from our business, from our journey. You know, we are first generation builders, and we've got to where we are ourselves. So I want to be able to share that passion with them. I want to be able to share that knowledge with them. We haven't had those connections along the way. We've really had to search it out and find it our own way. We've not had any mentorship along the way, particularly as women. Something that I found, even in comparison with my husband, even though we work alongside together and are equal, I'm having to work at almost double the speed to take on the knowledge and the learning and the growth, because he's had that longer time in the industry, because, you know, as a joint family decision, we chose to have children. So if we can help our mentee have that fast track with the knowledge, with the connections, with the guidance to, you know, whether it's financial or not necessarily mentally, but like emotionally, because there will be times when you do get setbacks, whether it be a setback in planning, whether it be a setback on finance, and it can be really disheartening. So if we can help give them that motivation and that support during their journey, because it's just nice to have someone hold your hand sometimes through things, isn't it?
When I first started, it was just me, and I had to do everything. I had to view properties, buy properties, speak to brokers, speak to lawyers, speak to planning consultant, architect, get the drawings done, and then I have to go to B&Q, buy the paint, go log online to Victoria Plumb and buy the, you know, all the plumbing, like all the boilers, different things. So I have to do everything end to end. But we have moved away from that. So we have around over 30 employees now. I can't be sure, but I think we may be the only one, or one of the very, very few companies, development companies led by a female CEO and founder, at the same time hires more female staff members than male. So we have more, actually, I think 60% of our staff members are female, and a lot of them are actually single moms. That's why I think that this Magnificent Seven, this initiative is so important because put us out there. And wow, there are actually female developers who are doing very, very well and will give other people hope. I even hired someone who is 7 months pregnant. She's obviously pregnant, and we talked about it. And I said that I'm not going to just, write you off just because you are 7 months pregnant. And I believe that because you are a mom, you have more reasons that you have to work hard because you have to provide financially and you also have to lead by example.
Our background for Stronghold Home started when, I guess you could say, when Carl and I were dating. We both had a passion for building homes and knew that's something we wanted to do in the future. Carl was a carpenter by trade. I retrained whilst at home with our first child in interior design. And we've been going for nearly a decade now. It started out with 1 home and then 3 homes and then gradually on to 8, 9, 11. It's been quite a lot of the time an individual project at a time, and we've been aiming to get to the place where we can just roll on from one project to the next, both by financially and also having the site processed and ready to go with planning and that, and we're getting to that point. We also are really grateful for the opportunity that we have to show our children hard work. We were at a meeting recently where it was a group of developers together. Our daughter, so she knows I'm involved with the M7, and she was sat next to me and she said, "Mummy, which ones are the female developers?" And I said, "Well, of course there's me, because I work with Daddy, and Joanne from the M7 was there." And I said, "There's Joanne." And I didn't know many of the other people there, so I turned to Joanne and said, "Oh, can you point out who they are?" And she pointed out one other, and then she said, "And then there's also you're the next generation female developers." And that was a real moment for me because yes, I'm part of this campaign, encouraging women to come into housing developing. Yes, I am a female developer, but still it's reprogramming my own mind to remember that our daughters, both our daughters and sons, can choose what they want to do in the future. It's really important to me and really is the reason why I'm part of the M7, because at times I do feel not worthy to be here. I do feel imposter syndrome. And it wasn't till Edwin asked me that I actually recognised I am actually a female developer, because you just get caught up in your everyday, and because it's our own business. So that's why it's really important for me to be part of the M7, is that you are welcome in this place, and we're here to help you move through it.
It makes me feel good, make me feel empowered. And I think in a way it gives me competitive advantage. Like the reason, as for example, I was invited to the parliament, for example, we are talking now and get out there. If I'm a man, I probably wouldn't have those opportunities. You can see this photo, this taken outside meeting, and I'm the only girl, and they want me to stand in the middle. If I'm a guy, I can stand in the side. So I don't feel that. And I speak to a lot of my male colleagues, and I think they actually would like to see more women as well. And I think that's why this initiative is so powerful, because I actually think, of course, there are still structural issues with the industry which make it a bit more difficult for ladies to join. But at the same time, I think there is some structural issues here as well. So I always thought it was me who should take a step back, who should be a housewife. But look at where I am now. But if I was not pushed, I was not, really thrown into the deep end, I wouldn't have the courage to do it. And I want to say to other young women, you have the opportunity and you can have a job and also look after your family.
Being a working mum is an ever-evolving process that you have to let some things slide, and you have to prioritise certain parts of the job role and certain parts of being a parent. I am one of the only mums that has been able to attend all of those sessions that they do at school, whether it be the phonics learning or going in and seeing their little piece of work that they've done. I want to be there for them, but also to be able to, sometimes as a mum, you can get lost in all of that, in all of your kids' journey. So the fact that I've been able to have my own role within the business and been able to have that opportunity for growth and for learning, and I've been surprised by how much I can achieve. I didn't think that was possible for me, and so with a role that's so diverse, it's a great opportunity to give that flexibility for women, but also have that growth and to learn who you are. It's okay for women to hold that and to be strong, because sometimes we perhaps make ourselves smaller than we are because that's what we're used to.
It's fair to say UK construction has never been the most representative of industries, traditionally speaking. But leading organisations are making great strides towards opening up equality, diversity and inclusiveness across all levels of their businesses. For now, that's all the time we have for this episode. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time for more insights and inspiration that's helping us all on the way to building better.